Today I'm going to take you through my whole homeschool reset as I'm getting ready for homeschool. I'm emptying everything out of my closet, and as I'm doing that, I want to show you some things that I really wish I had known or had the first time around homeschooling my first kid. And I'm going to show you some resources, but also show you some favorite books and some favorite tools. I know it's really going to be a help for you if this is your first time. I hope you leave this video feeling so encouraged that homeschool doesn't have to be one size fits all, but actually you can get really excited about doing it the way you feel called to do it. So I'm just thrilled for you. I'm so excited for you. You're going to see a lot of mess, but this is I haven't reset from the last year. We kind of just left it the way it was, and now I'm trying to get it all ready to go for our new homeschool year. So come along with me. And before the video gets started, tell me down below, what ages of homeschoolers are you getting started with? What curriculums are you thinking about? What questions do you have? Put them all down below, maybe some seasoned mamas, and I will just try to answer. I've been homeschooling for about 5 years, so I definitely don't know it all, but I would love to hear from you down in the comments. And two things to tell you about. One, I say this in all my videos because how are you gonna know unless I tell you? If you happen to also be pregnant, to be a pregnant homeschool mama, I have a free class you need to go take. It's just 5 things that you need to know, decisions you need to make to change your whole birth experience. I've had 5 births at this point, and I've learned a lot along the way that I want to impart to you. The second thing is I have this free, beautiful homeschool checklist that my kids follow on days that I don't have a plan. Go to the checklist. You can do, I've got some things kind of laid out for them. So this just kind of gets us going on our day. My friend Brittany from Cheers and Prayers actually made this checklist for her own kids. I walked in her home and I was like, I have to have that. That's so beautiful. And I showed it in a video and more people asked for it. So Brittany gave me permission to give it away to you guys. She's an artist and she's amazing and a homeschool mom. So you can go grab that down below as a resource for your homeschool. What I would say to a first-time mom is you really don't need a lot of stuff at the very beginning. It's kind of like when you have your first baby and you kind of go a little crazy with baby showers and you just feel like, okay, if I have all the tools, then that's gonna make me a really good mom. But actually, you don't need much to be a really good mom, and sometimes it really helps you to have less. So I would just say, if you're getting started with homeschool, don't feel like you need all of this stuff, this is slowly accumulating. My oldest is about to turn 11 and we've been homeschooling since he was 5. So 5 to 6 years worth of little by little, and then now I am homeschooling multiple ages. But I do want to show you some things that could be really helpful with the first time. I'm just going to pick through some of this stuff, and if I could just have some of these tools the first time around, what would I have? I'm going to show you some of that. I really like these pattern blocks right here. They can go together to make all kinds of designs, but then also you can get little mats for them to go on. Let me show you that. Okay, this is an example. This came with Good and the Beautiful, I think. And the bad thing is these actually don't fit these pattern blocks. These are just a little bit too big for these blocks. But these came with their own pattern blocks right here. But you can get some to match the bigger ones. But they just come with different, and this is a great activity for kids, just making a pineapple and getting spatial awareness. This is a little busy activity that they can do that feels fun. So you can kind of almost set up a station for them to do a couple of these sheets. I think these are great, but then we also use them super open-ended. If I'm reading aloud, one kid might get the pattern blocks and just make a cool design. Maybe I'll take a picture of it at the end to share with Daddy. They really like Daddy to see things. Or if it's really cool, you could keep a picture and put it in a homeschool folder on your phone and then print them all out at the end of the first, towards Christmas or end of the year, so they can kind of remember what all they've done. That's a fun idea. This is a great thing if you're homeschooling your first. Okay, so this is called a Yodo right here. And then this is a Yodo Mini. I think the Yodo Mini, there's pluses and minuses. What's nice is it has more of a screen. Okay, so what's cool about this is it shows patterns. So this one's patterns. And it's asking the kid what color comes next. So what's nice about the bigger one is that it will show things on the screen for certain cards. But it will also do the same thing on this little screen. These are not necessary, but these are really great just to give you a little bit of breathing room. Honestly, as a mom, they can listen to a million books. They can listen to their own music. I absolutely love this card by J.J. Heller, I Dream of You. There's like a 4-pack. My kids love these. They're so calm. Like the music is so calm and so soothing. They like to listen to these like when they just want to chill. Sometimes they take them on bike rides. And that's nice about these is they have the little arm sling, a little bit more durable. They even have like little slide packs you can put them in. And then I like the little folder that they come with so that I can put their Yodo cards in here. And I got like a math pack, so sometimes I'll be like, have a list for the things that the kids are gonna do, and it's like, okay, I want you to go listen to one math card. I really like these sandpaper letters. What I learned from Peaceful Press is it can really help kids, especially if they have any kind of learning challenges but not even then, to have like a tactile way to feel. So these are sandpaper, and they have lowercase, and I think they have numbers too, but it even teaches them the right way to write it. So the dot's where you start, and then you go down and around. And so we might sit there, like if we're doing D, it might be like down and around, down and around. And so we'll do that, and I just keep all those cards together. I have a kid with dyslexia, and that is really helpful, is to be able to feel. If I could start with any reading curriculum, I would start with All About Reading. I was a little intimidated about it because it can have a lot of moving pieces, like things you have to kind of cut out. There are very type A organized women that I highly admire online, where they create these like folders. And I actually kind of see why, because you could just open it up and get ready and go. To me, I don't know if this is just like how my brain works, that was too big of a hurdle for me. So I just cut it out as I went this year, and then I put them in Ziploc baggies to save, because, you know, ideally I would like to use this curriculum more than once. And so, you know, this was kind of a hassle, whereas it could have all been organized, and I'll have to go back and organize this anyways to reuse it. But I started with Good and the Beautiful. I'm not knocking them. I just feel like some kids can learn to read with that, but I feel like almost all kids can learn to read with All About Reading. And I feel like it was a better education for me. That's one thing I think a lot of moms don't realize, is sometimes we take for granted how we learned the English language. For instance, like you might say L says L, like Lana, that's my name. No, L says L. I was like tacking on all kinds of vowels to consonants with sounds. And I feel like All About Reading really helps you understand the sounds really well, because you put sounds together to make words. I mean, this stuff sounds so easy, but I have actually had reading therapists tell me, you would be shocked, Lana, how many kindergarten teachers would tell you that M says M, not mm. And I was like, oh, okay. It made me feel a lot better that I just didn't know. You don't know. And so I feel like I personally, the great thing about homeschooling is you can learn while your kid is learning. And I kind of had to go back and undo some things that I had done. Not saying Good and the Beautiful taught me the wrong thing. I'm saying I needed a little bit more hand holding personally. And so I really like All About Reading, and I'm going to continue to use All About Reading. I ordered Good and the Beautiful and All About Reading. All About Reading sat in my closet for, I kid you not, a year and a half. And then I had to circle back and use All About Reading, because Good and the Beautiful was, for me personally, I just like can't say that enough, it was a train wreck for me. The math was pretty good, but the math had so much like I had to sit down and teach for so long, which is fine when you are starting off with your first kid. But after a while, it just gets to be like, I have so many moving pieces. I can't continue to spend an hour on math a day, one-on-one with a kid with so many activities. I mean, I think they were learning it, but so, you know, the luxury of starting off with your first kid is maybe you can spend more time digging in deep. But the tricky thing might be that you have a toddler underfoot and a baby underfoot. So if there ever was a time to invest lots and lots of time teaching reading and math basics, sure, it would be with your first, but you can't be frustrated with yourself if you can't maintain that level of one-on-one, if that makes sense, because at some point it just becomes unreasonable. All to say, I'm still trying to figure that out as a mom of 5, if that makes sense. Okay, this is a fun game. Everything I'm saying, these are ideas. These are jumping off points. Please don't feel like this is all necessary. This has been fun though, because we can use it as a match game, or we can play Go Fish with it. And so learning letters, being able to recognize letters, know the name for letters, know the sounds for letters, letter awareness, so important. A lot of the homeschool community is very split. One part of the homeschool community is like, don't stress about reading. It's totally fine. If it takes them a long time to learn it, that's okay. The other part of the homeschool community is like 100 easy lessons as early as you can and teach reading as early as you can because then they'll be more independent. And I kind of see both. It's weird. Like, I feel like sometimes it's nice to stay away from the extremes because the extremes feel like the ditches, you know? Somewhere in between. Like, I think it is important to take reading seriously if your child is struggling, to do early interventions and like all about reading. I'm not saying that's an intervention, but what's the old saying? Go as fast as you can, but slow as you must. That's the nice part about homeschooling is you can go fast. If your kid is getting it, you can move on, and then you can take it down and go slow as you must. I had an older woman say, my kid didn't even learn to read till he was 11, and now he's a lawyer and he reads for a living and he loves to read. That story gave me hope, but then I kind of took it a little too lax and didn't pick up on the fact that I had a child who was really, really struggling with reading, and I didn't take it seriously enough. And now I'm realizing like, oh, there's dyslexia, and maybe if we had intervened sooner. So I'm not trying to scare you. I think just hold it all loosely and do what you can, but every child is so different and they learn in their own way and at their own pace, and don't let any family member shame you or make you feel bad about yourself. I had a dear friend. My oldest son was struggling to read, and her daughter was literally like 6 months younger than my son and had read the whole entire Little House on the Prairie series twice or something like that. And my son was still like, you know, doing like the level 1 readers or something like that. And I just couldn't compare. Comparison is the thief of joy. So I can't say that enough. On your homeschooling journey, you are going to be a different kind of mom than another mom, and that is great, and that's okay. You have to figure out how you like to teach best and just lean into that, embrace that, and your child is going to be totally different than another child, and that's okay. I wanted to show you a couple of resources that have been super, super helpful. If you're getting started for the first time, love the Peaceful Preschool. Look, you can tell it's like been scribbled all over. I think the absolute gold in this thing is the parent guide at the very beginning, like right here. Like, you can tell where I have taken notes. I go back and read this at the beginning of every school year because it is so helpful. She talks about gathering supplies, shopping lists. She talks about getting the essentials, your vision, your schedule. She talks about developing a daily schedule, how do you teach kids personal care, breakfast time, chore time, circle time, independent activities, outside time. And then she wants you to like, what are your biggest distractions? Mine was like my phone. I don't know if some of you guys know this, but I did a video where I've literally gotten rid of my smartphone because it was such a distraction to me. I think I have like ADHD, and like it was just too many things just like tapping me on the forehead. So I just got rid of it. Now I'm using the Wise phone. I did use the light phone for a little while. That's another video. But what are some easy, healthy snacks you can do? What are some personal care you want the kids to do? And what are some chores? I have taken the chores to a whole nother level because we're in another season where I have bigs. And then she has you like create your family vision, practical life skills. I love wisdom. Like, I'm not saying I'm a super wise woman, but I think it's so valuable when you can get wisdom from somebody who's gone ahead of you. I mean, some of her kids have already graduated from college and are having babies and things like that. But then she's still homeschooling, so she hasn't forgotten. I feel like it's invaluable to get her wisdom. So I love that. I moved on after that to Playful Pioneers. And what I love about her stuff is it mixes poetry. This is stuff you would like do like in morning time, but then just like beautiful pictures from history. My kids memorized some of these poems this year. Picture Books in Winter by Robert Louis Stevenson. Like, one of my sons memorized that. It's just so sweet. Just some like good, beautiful stuff in the morning menus. She has lots of different curriculums, but you could start off with Peaceful Preschool, or there's also like Nourishing Kindergarten, things like that. Okay, these menus are so helpful. You can slide different things in here. This is like a tracing sheet, so you could get some dry erase markers and just put different things in here. And so I would use this often for handwriting for my youngest one. So you can do all kinds of stuff in menus, all kinds of tracing, writing, math, all kinds of that stuff. If you don't want to bother with laminating it, you could just stick it in a morning menu. This is a little beyond first child, but not really. I mean, my 4-year-old has done some of this. What I love about this is like watercolor with me. And then I just got like a little palette like this. And this is like one of my child's personal palettes she got for Christmas, but this watercolor with me, it's actually watercolor paper. Okay, this kid did not follow the color suggestions that they give, but it gives step by step so you could sit beside them. And then it's almost like drawn with a pencil is what it looks like. It tells you the colors and then you follow instructions. So like my 4-year-old tried to do these leaves. There's different ones of these. There's like jungle, ocean. I think these are really lovely for art time because it kind of gets you going, and she teaches you techniques along the way. So I think this makes watercolor like the very beginning kind of more accessible. But my grandma had also just bought me like these palettes. It's the end of the year, I'm gonna trash these. We're gonna start with some fresh stuff. One thing I've learned is like toss all the color pencils that are like half used, all the crayons that are half used. Like, you know, I haven't got to do that every year because of finances, but the years I can, I just toss the stuff that's looking like this, and we start with something fresh because it feels like at the beginning of the school year we have some fresh new supplies because we use it all so well anyways. Okay, these are just some books that have been real blessings to my family. So Hero Tales, these are a family treasury of true stories from the lives of Christian heroes. And so I might read one of these morning time. Like I said, if you're homeschooling your first and they're 4, this might be a little bit above their head, but it takes like just a hero from their faith and it kind of tells like their story. Dwight L. Moody. Then they kind of attach like a story to their life. 100 Bible verses everyone should know by heart. We went through part of this year. And so the very first one is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So we use these for Bible memory, and then they give you like a little story or a snippet that goes with it to help lock it in your brain too. Okay, if you're trying to build out your philosophy of homeschool, I mean, not everybody loves Wild and Free, but I do appreciate her approach because her kids started in school, and then she just kind of realized like there's so much freedom in homeschool that I think a lot of moms could really tap into. So I've enjoyed the freedom I felt from reading this book. I mean, not everybody, I enjoy the whole Wild and Free thing. I've been to the conferences several times. I don't love everything about it. I don't agree with everything the speakers say. It's not necessarily Christian. I am a Christian. It's important to me for homeschool, but I glean a lot. I love like when Sally Clarkson comes to speak. Okay, and they have a couple of different, they have like a holidays one that's really good about like handicrafts. And then nature. For Christmas, we did these paper stars, and then one of them still hanging in my kids' room, but like very accessible. Like if you feel like you have no idea how to get started with handicrafts, you're not a very artsy person, that's definitely how I feel. Like this one right here gave me like the confidence. I know this is talking about like beeswax for cocoa lip balm, but like there's stuff in here for candles. Like it's just slowly giving me confidence to see little by little like picture tutorials. The same thing with like nature, like okay, we're on a hike in the woods or on like a little trail. Like how can we create a lesson from this? It gave me a lot of good ideas. I love this Theology. Great resource to teach theology to kids. The pictures are literally beautiful. If you have boys who are really into dinosaurs, this is a little over the head, but this was a great resource for me to understand how to explain dinosaurs. Basically, it's from like the Creation Museum. So how do you understand dinosaurs from a Christian point of view? And what he kind of gets down to is if dinosaurs lived and died before humans ever sinned, then death was a part of the world before Adam and Eve fell. So then they didn't cause the fall. They didn't cause sin and death. That was there before. So if you think, oh, there was like this prehistoric time before humans, you know what I mean? It kind of gets you, like, there's some hard questions to answer with dinosaurs. And so for a little while, I was afraid of dinosaurs, but my kid was so fascinated by dinosaurs, like still is, that I had to do some digging myself. So great resource for that. Love like Robert McCloskey's books. They're old and beautiful. That's the great thing about Peaceful Press. Like I really trust her book recommendations. They are absolute gold. Gold. I even got this one from Peaceful Press. Let's Go Home. I actually did a whole video where I talk about like how inspired I was by this book and why the home is so important. Those are just a couple of books, but like I will collect books. Like there are many things I am not, like you look at this big table that I showed you and it's a disaster. This was all in a closet, but like I try to be a minimalist for the most part, and I like good books. I don't keep books that we don't read and that I don't like, but I will keep a lot of really good books, because I think that's kind of the foundation of our education, is good books that tell good stories and inspire the kids. I know that you could have just gleaned one little nugget for your homeschooling journey. Remember, you don't have to do it like other people. There's so much freedom. You don't have to replicate school. You get to do it your way, and you get to have fun. And when you bring passion to your homeschool, your kids are going to be able to feel it. So if you're trying to homeschool in a way that just does not jive with who you are and your personality, like, your kids are going to feel that. So for me, I'd rather deal with flour from baking than glitter. It's just a personal thing. I'd rather do painting than a lot of other art projects. I would rather be outside than doing a million workbooks. And so, not that I've homeschooled perfectly, but I think the main thing for me is I want my kids to know and love the Lord. I want them to love each other as siblings. I want us to be close and connected. I want to know what's going on in their heart and their mind. I want to teach them business. Like, my 2 older sons have a business where they roll the trash cart to the street and back for $1 for each house. And that's been so good at teaching them entrepreneurial skills, like things like that. My kids are playing wiffle ball in the front yard, and they just hit the ball close to the window. So tell me down below, what ages of kids are you starting to homeschool? What are you excited about? What resources are you going to use? I would love to hear from you. If you're a seasoned mom and you're watching this, drop all of your best wisdom down below. We'd love to learn from you as well. And I've got lots of other homeschooling videos on this channel, so make sure you check those out, and I'll see you again in the next video.
It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past, 'cause I know that God is good. He led me to where I'm at. Sometimes I feel like giving up, you're giving in, but everything happens for a reason. It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand, just like iron sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're growing together.